Hi, my name's Matthew McCarthy and I'm a sustainability consultant at Niyabu Arbia. Today I want to talk you through one step that you can take towards planning a resilient supply chain. So a step for any manager working with supply chain management is to begin by thinking long term, right? So when we talk about resilience in supply chains, we commonly measure resilience in relation to risk management. Risk management is a vital part of sustainability work, as it allows us to effectively address the short-term risks and identify possible long-term risks. But it's important to note that to ensure long-term risks are addressed in sustainable supply chain management, a shift in perspective needs to be taken. Short-term risk management strategies in supply chain management, such as asking what if, need to be complemented by measures which ensure that supply chains are risk-free no matter what happens. So what's an example of this? Well, what if a supplier goes bankrupt overnight? What if we can't find a new supplier in a short period of time? All supply chain managers know that a more sustainable way of addressing this risk is by relying on supply from several suppliers, not one single supplier. But not many actually do this. And this comes into what we call the no matter what happens approach. Basically, the idea is to make sure that no matter what happens, we know that we have enough avenues to receive the supply we need, even in times of crisis. So if one of our suppliers goes bankrupt without informing us prior to their bankruptcy, we can compensate and ensure a continuous supply regardless by calling in supply from other suppliers. Expanding the number of your suppliers for a material or a part also encourages your company to include previously overlooked small-scale suppliers and give them a fairer share in global supply chains. This is also a positive social impact. In some cases, though, I recognise that it won't be possible to find multiple sources for certain parts or materials for your supply chain. In these cases, companies need to supplement their traditional sourcing practices with new sources of information and new approaches to understand and mitigate the risks they take when they look for new suppliers. But that's maybe something for another YouTube clip. So what else can we do there? Well, alongside this, we can also consider ethical partnerships. Ethical partnerships in supply chains can encourage larger companies to support their small independent suppliers in tough times. Ethical partnerships can be established through aligning supplier codes of conduct in relation to international ethical standards such as fair trade, or by performing human rights due diligence in line with UN guiding principles on business and human rights, for example. So this looks at the long-term perspective. This is just one step, but it's one important step that needs to be taken towards addressing and planning for a resilient, sustainable supply chain. Thanks for listening. Tune into the next one.